What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys listening to episode 515. I believe it's probably got to be close to like 70 something on Zoom or whatever. I don't know. Moved from audio. Anyway, how the hell is everybody doing? I hope everybody was good in between shows, and this fucking stupid thing off the screen. I am doing well. As you guys can tell, my voice is a little hoarse. I'm a little tired. I'm a little run down. I feel like shit, but got a great episode 15 for you guys. I was supposed to have a comedian who I love on the show, and unfortunately there was a illness that's being worked on, so that guest will be back on, but they needed to take medicine and everything like that. I don't want to mention the name. There's going to be a bunch of guests coming on here, but I want to thank all you guys, all you new and old listeners of the Virzi Effect. Thank you guys. Continue to like and subscribe, and tell a friend about the show. Get the Virzi Effect anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. I may sneeze during this episode. I may cough during this episode. And of course, like the unprepared kid that I am, I don't have a drink. Anyway, normally when you go into a podcast, you have a sense of what you're going to talk about. Normally you write down some, I guess, bullet points. Well, on this episode, guys, I really don't have to do that. Okay. I don't have to do that on this episode because I have a lot of shit to talk about, and a lot of crazy stories, a lot of amazing things to talk about. So sit back, relax, wherever you are, in your car, you know the drill, in your fucking cubicle, running on a fucking treadmill or a Peloton or all that stuff. Well, I'm sure if you're on a Peloton, you're listening to some jacked trainer motivate you. I don't think you'd be running on a Peloton listening to me sounding like I have a cold talking shit. But the first thing that I want to get into, on today's episode is I just got back from doing Skankfest in Houston, Texas. Okay. And it was Skankfest South. Now, I have never done a Skankfest before. I never did the ones in New York. I never did any of them. But, you know, I'm friends with everybody in comedy. Like, I'm one of those guys in comedy where it's like, you know, like I was a kid in high school too. I'm friends with every group. Of course, you're going to have your crew that you hang with on weekends. You're going to have your, you're going to have your crew, your circle. But I wasn't one of those like who just stayed in a circle. I would talk to everybody. I was cool with everybody. That's how I am in comedy. So we go on everybody's podcast. We know everybody. And I was asked, hey, do you want to come to Skankfest? We'd love to have you. And I looked at my calendar. I was free. And I said, sure, man, the fans. And this is why I wanted to do it too. Not only am I friends with those guys, Lewis and Jay and Dave, and all of them are so great. But the only reason why I was like, I want to really try to do this is because the fans of Skankfest, the fans of Legion of Skanks, like, I didn't know much about it, to be honest. All I knew was when I would do a show and there were fans of Skankfest and of Legion of Skanks and all that shit. I mean, of course I'm getting a call right now. I gotta avoid it. Isn't life amazing? My phone literally didn't ring, and now it's fucking ringing, and I'm trying to fucking do this episode. All right. But anyway, I want to talk about love and good shit. So long story short, I did a show at the Stress Factory called Depraved that Luis Gomez did. And I couldn't believe the fans and how amazing and how great. And then I did one in New Jersey, and I couldn't believe how incredible these people were. So I go out to Skankfest, and every comedian from New York is there, but so many people, so many amazing comedians were there. Friends of mine, people I haven't seen in a long time, comics from LA, you know, people that it was good to just connect with and say hello to. Eddie Pepitone I know Jessica Kirson was out there. You just see everybody in the hallways, and just everybody that you're cool with for so long. On top of, obviously, the main people of that festival, which is like the Legion of Skanks, the regulars on their thing. But then there's all these other comedians that come out, and Bob Saget showed up, and Doug Stanhope was there, and it was just, the list goes on. And I got to tell you something, man, and I mean this. Okay. I don't know how funny this podcast is going to be. Well, I got some funny shit to say after, but this is actually just an honest thing that I really was taken back. I was taken back by the absolute love and amazing, amazing fans that were at Skankfest South in Houston. People stopping you on the street, thanking you for being there, paying attention to the shows. All right. I even joked on stage, because Skankfest fans, they don't dress up. They're just fucking regular. You know what I mean? Like, I was joking on stage. I go, listen, I'm not going to lie. Half you people look all right. I go, the other half of you people look like we should be giving out Thanksgiving turkeys and shit. And you know what? They laugh. When you fuck with them, they laugh. When you say a joke that you don't know how it's going to go, they laugh. And even when you're saying something, let's say they don't love it, they're watching, they're into it, they're appreciative. And the amount of people that stopped you on the street saying, man, I love you and I respect what you do and I appreciate what you do and thank you for being here, man. And you're just going like, what? And I was talking to a bunch of comedians. Brett Ernst and I were hanging out there, Bobby Kelly. But I was talking to some comedians and they were like, man, I've been to major festivals, many of them. This is the first festival where everybody knows us. Everybody walking the streets knows who we are. They're nice. They're respectful. If they couldn't see you, oh, hey, man, the schedule was so crazy. I didn't get a chance to see you, but man, I love what you do. Thank you for being here. And when you're on stage, you feel the love. They go nuts when you come on stage. They go nuts when you get off stage. They're just comedy fans and just regular people who want to laugh. And to have people keep coming up and going, hey, man, I've been through a lot of shit. This shit saved my life. This shit helped me. I'm getting the chills right now. Like, you guys don't understand what you do. And to feel to the reassurance of like, and somebody was like, yeah, it was really nice to see the reassurance of how beloved you guys are. And people were coming up like, Paul, man, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to bother you. Can I get a picture? I was like literally eating. And that guy goes, Paul, man, I know you're eating. I got this poster. I want everyone to sign it. I'm going to put it up in a poster for the rest of my life. I'm going to have this thing. And I was just like, yeah, of course. Like, would you take a picture? Of course. Would you sign anything? Of course. And they just were so genuine and amazing, man. And it really reaffirmed why I got into comedy. I got into comedy for that. The ideal situation to be in comedy. It's like, why you get in comedy? It's like, these people are just appreciative and love it. And that's what it was, man. It was filled with love. There was no negativity. There was nobody was like unsafe. Nobody was rude. Everybody, it was literally like love flowing through the streets. People hanging out, it was almost like a little mini Woodstock at this one venue with multiple things going on at the same time. Food trucks and everybody hanging out. It's Jim Florentine. You see legendary comics, Jim Florentine and Rich Voss and all my friends. Everyone's hanging out, and it was just so fun, man. And it was so filled with what it should be, and really took me back to like, oh my God, man, like this is why I got in this. So what they created, having the streets of Houston flooded with these fans, and was really, truly remarkable. And I'll tell you guys a funny story, man. So you guys know, you listen to the show, you know that I like cigars. So I think it was the first night, excuse me. I'm sick. I'm a mess. So the first night, we wanted to, because Saturday night was the fight. So we're going to go watch the fight. And we did that. But like, again, I'm just thinking of the names. Watch the fight, Mike Vecchione and everybody, right? So Friday night, Bobby Kelly brings cigars to the venue, and we're outside and we start smoking them. And then the end of the night happens and people just want to go back, but I still want to have a drink. So we go back to the Hilton. The Hilton's beautiful. They put us up in a beautiful hotel with a beautiful bar. And I go back to the bar and we start drinking, and Doug Stanhope comes by with his people. Doug Stanhope, and I think his buddy who opens for him, and his wife or whatever, they're hanging out at the bar, and we're just drinking, and I'm holding the cigar, which is out now. Now the cigar's out. So we're done drinking and we go outside and we're smoking, and everyone's going to go in. And I'm like, I'm going to stay and smoke this. And Doug Stanhope goes, no, man, why don't you, oh my God, I can't say this. I realized I can't say this. I realized I just can't say this. So here's what I'll say. I went back to Doug Stanhope's. This is what I can say. I went back to Doug Stanhope's hotel room. He goes, come back, man. We'll hang out there. We'll get some drinks in my hotel room. So we go up there. It's me, Doug, his buddy, his wife, whatever. And he's got a nice big room. And for whatever reason, we end up hanging out because they're two beds. You know, we have two double beds. His wife is laying down and all their stuff is out there. They got the TV on. So we're not going to like be hanging out in there. But he had this like gigantic bathroom with like this huge glass shower. And next thing you know, we're just literally shooting the shit about comedy in the bathroom, talking. Okay. I can't say if anything was, smoked. I don't think it was. I don't know. But we're just hanging out in there. And he's got this gigantic glass shower. And his buddy goes, dude, why don't I take a picture of you guys standing in the shower holding a drink? So we're in this giant shower with a glass thing. It's me and Stanhope. He's in a full-fledged suit and tie. I got a drink. I'm holding this cigar. We're just sitting in there and taking pictures and just shooting the shit, talking. Doug's got face paint on because of the shit that they were doing at the festival. I'm fucking tired, out of my mind. And I'm just, after a while, I realized, like, all right, dude, I'm literally like partying in me and Doug are partying in his bathroom. And then I was like, all right, dude, now it's time to go. And the next day, Bobby Kelly was like, yeah, I ran into Doug. He said you guys were fucking hanging out, drinking in the shower, drinking in his bathroom. And it was such a good time, man. And Doug Stanhope is a guy that like I knew, and we've talked at festivals, but like really got to talk to him, like really got to tell him like what I think of his comedy and talk about some stuff in comedy. And it was obviously in a funny way. He had this vodka. And I go, and me being the fucking stupid, like liking top-notch shit, I just go to, what kind of vodka you have? And he goes, does it matter? I don't know. It's and so we're drinking vodka and we had a good time. And now part of the Skank Fest thing is you obviously, any festival. So anybody that knows, when you go to a festival, you get like a goodie bag. You get like a goodie bag, right? And people were so cool, and people had like, vape pens. And I didn't know about like the weed or the weed pen and all these different things. But people are just like, hey, man, you want this? You want that? Long story short, in my gift bag, I go to my hotel room, and I don't know if somebody was just being cool. I don't know if it was part of a set. I didn't know if it belonged to like a vape pen they gave. But there was like somebody put in my bag a little baggie of weed, and it looked like good weed. It looked like really good fucking weed, right? And it's in my bag, and I'm just like, I'm tired. I go through the weekend. Me and Brett Ernst kept going to Craig Biggio's fucking restaurant, and all we kept talking about was if we knew Craig Biggio. So I'd walk up to the hostess. I'd be like, excuse me, ma'am, is Biggio coming? Is Craig coming here? She'd go, no. And I was like, listen, if he does, you got to tell us immediately. And she was taking it all seriously. She's like, yeah, no problem. I will. And we're watching the football games there. So we're just having this great time. But now I got to start packing my shit. Okay. I got to start packing my shit to leave this festival, finally come home. Not to mention the day I fly back, which is yesterday, Monday, me and Brett Ernst are co-headlining a show at New York Comedy Club for the New York Comedy Festival called Chains Out. Just Guido shit. We had our black shirts on. We had our gold chains out. Well, he had a silver chain. I got my 2 gold chains out, and we just had this great time. But we had to fly back, and I'm packing my shit. And I realized that I packed marijuana. I packed weed in my bag. And I've never done that before. And I know you're probably listening to this going, Paul, it doesn't matter. It's legal. It's fine. Nobody's going to care. I don't know the rules. Okay. But I've never had any kind of drugs or any kind of weed in my bag going anywhere that I knew of. until now. But I got all this shit. They gave away flasks, and there's a yearbook, and there's all kinds of amazing shit that they give, coasters and pens and this and that. And people were just, I don't know. So there was a bag of weed in there, and I packed it, and I'm tired, and I get up early, and I have to go to the airport, and I just have my backpack with everything in it. And I get to the airport, and guys, I shit you not, I'm not making this up. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating for the podcast, not trying to be funny. I'm being dead serious. I get to the fucking thing, the TSA, I take my shoes off, I put it in a bin, take my backpack, put it in a bin, the whole thing, jacket, hat, sunglasses, put it in the bin, and I'm waiting, and it starts going through, and then it goes through, and I come around the other side to grab my shit. And this dude, when I tell you Steve Urkel, everyone was laughing. I didn't even know if he was fucking with us. There was a dude, black dude, glasses, who was Steve Urkel. He talked exactly like it. He behaved like it. This dude was way into his job. And I swear to God, he just goes, "Excuse me, whose bag is this? Is this who we got a backpack? Whose backpack is this?" I'm going, "Oh, fuck, dude, the weed is in there, man. Fuck, dude, I got to get to New York." Now, I don't know the rules. Still don't. I don't think it was a lot of weed, but there was a bag of weed in my bag. And I'm going, "Fuck, dude." And I was like, "Oh, it's mine." He goes, "Okay, grab your stuff and come around." So I lean over and I start grabbing like my jacket and stuff. And he goes, "Don't grab your stuff there. That's not safe." And I almost bursted out laughing, dude, because this dude was like, I was like, "Is this guy fucking with us?" Like, I don't know. He could have been fucking with us for his friends, but this was going on for a long, long time. And I'm just going, "Oh my God, dude, this is wild." So I come around, I put my shoes and I get everything else on. And he just puts my book bag on the thing and he unzips it in front of me. And I'm just going, "All right, Paul, do you say that you were at a festival and they were giving stuff away? Do you just keep your mouth shut and see if he finds it and act stupid?" And then my mind, it just registered. I go, "Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let him go through everything. And if he finds the weed and goes, 'What's this? This is a con. We can't have it,' then I'll be like, 'Oh shit. You know what? I was at a festival. They were giving stuff out. Maybe somebody dropped it in my bag.' It wasn't enough where I would be in trouble, but I figured don't bring attention to it. So I have a sweatshirt on top of everything. The guy takes the sweatshirt out. Then he takes the goodie bag that I got from Skankfest. He starts looking through it, the yearbook, and he picks up the flask. He's looking at the flask, and I'm going, "Oh shit, dude, this dude's gonna find the weed." And then he just stops and he looks in and he goes, "It's nothing. It's fine." And then just puts everything back and like literally like rolled up my sweatshirt nice, put it in, zipped it up. And I'm just, because I just didn't want the hassle. I'm not saying I was going to get in super trouble, but I just didn't want to hassle. I didn't want to miss my flight. I didn't want my wife to hear like, "Yeah, there was weed and I got stopped." And my like, what? Like, I just didn't want any of that shit. So he gives me the bag, he zips it up, and I just go to him. I go, "Man, thanks for being so fast." And he was like, "No problem." And he wasn't as Urkel-y when he said "no problem," like a little bit. So I don't know, if I truly don't know, but if anybody knows that TSA guy in the Houston airport, reach out to me, because that shit was like, "Whose bag is this?" Okay. Like, other people were laughing. I was like, "Oh shit, man." And he did have a little bit of goofiness to him with the glasses and shit. I didn't think he was messing around, but I got away without any issues, any hassle. And I'll probably just give my neighbor some good weed because I'm not feeling well. I'm not going to smoke it. And I know half the people listening are like, "Fuck that, I'll smoke that shit." But yeah, man, I didn't want to be at the airport and deal with that. That's the last thing I wanted to do. Because I didn't want, and plus if he took the weed out and other people saw it, it would have just been it would have been a mess. But overall, really great experience. Anybody listening to this, so many fans came up to me. Anybody listening to this right now, man, I meant what I said out there, man. I can't thank you guys enough for being as cool as you were. I want to thank everybody there for having me. Lewis and everybody on that team, Rebecca and Christine and Shannon, everybody who just, was It was amazing, man. It was such a great time to see everybody, all these amazing comedians. And this was a festival, you know, by comedians for comedians, and it just felt different and it felt amazing and it felt like something. You see all these amazing comedians walking around and it's just like a movement, man. It was amazing. It was nothing, there was no anything gross. There was no, it was just love. It literally was just love, man. And I know that that sounds weird, but it was like, like it was like people that were like, some people just dressed like bikers that just wanted to hug you and be like, thank you. I was like, fuck, man, this is like, dude, at one point, I'm not even trying to like overdo it. Like at one point, like I almost got emotional. I was just like looking back, I got off stage and people were just like, I was just like, this is incredible. So, it's amazing the time that we are in comedy where it's like, industry, matters a bit, but not fully anymore. And I think with cameras, look what I'm doing right now. This is my camera on the podcast. This is my microphone. This is my studio in my home. My friend is my producer. And like, you just go out and you put shit out there now and you could create some great shit. And it's really fucking amazing. So anybody listening to this, man, if you have ideas, you want to do something, this is the time to fucking do it. This is the time, 2021 going into 2022. Like, this is the time to fucking do it. And I'm serious. Like, take these words. If you have an idea, you can go to Best Buy. You could go get yourself some cameras. You could get a laptop. You could get a microphone. You have YouTube. You have shit, the shit that you hold in your hand, all this shit. And I got to watch it at a level where a city was packed with fans for 4 days, just into it. So, that was my experience there. And I just wanted to share that because, there's people that have people have said bad things or there's a stigma and stuff. But what I felt, listen, all you could go by is what your experience is, my experience. And it seemed like everybody's experience was how amazing. I remember running into these comedians just talking. We were all talking, going, how incredible is this? So can't praise it enough. There you go. I'm done. And I have a funny experience of, drinking and hanging out in Doug Stanhope's bathroom and shower. There's a picture of us behind the shower. I don't know who's got that, but and just seeing all these just these funny people, man, and hanging out with them, and Bobby Kelly, and then breaking my balls about a tie-dye sweatshirt I wore, which I don't give a fuck. I stand by the sweatshirt, but it was just comics doing what comics do. There were no unacceptables at all. There were no unacceptables that I could imagine, like to even mention, and it's weird to not have an unacceptable when you're at a comedy festival, you're in a hotel, you're walking around all these places. I mean, I guess the one unacceptable that I do have is that like places don't serve breakfast all day in these cities you go to. It's like, when there's conventions or there's festivals or there's comedians or there's musicians, I would say more than half the time we're going to wake up pretty early. I mean, we're going to wake up I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. More than we're not going to wake up early. We're going to probably be up lunchtime, but guess what? Lunchtime for a performer is breakfast. Lunchtime for a performer is breakfast. Can I get a fucking omelet? Me and Brett Ernst were drinking. We went to the fights, by the way. We went to the fights. It was this place called Little Woodrow's in Houston. Packed. There were UFC fighters in there. There was obviously comedians in there. Me and Brett are in there. Then Bobby showed up and Mike Vecchione and who else? Mike Racine showed up. And there was just a bunch of us watching these fights. And like, they had the Canelo fight and the UFC fights, and we're all packed in this place. We're hanging out and we're drinking. No place to eat. So me and Brett Ernst hop in a car and we go to Denny's. And guys, I shit you not, this Denny's was fucking epic. Now, here's what Italians do. Take this advice. I know you're going to say that's some real greaseball shit. I know you're going to say that's some Guido shit. This is what you do. It's very simple. We went to Denny's at night. It was busy. The weird thing was the cooks were walking around taking orders, which I'd never seen before. Literally like a back house cook just goes, yeah, man, I'm not a waiter, but what do you guys want? And we were like, oh, we want this, we want that. And listen, man, if you can make it quick, we'll throw you some cash. And I literally took out 20, like we took out cash and we just ran up to him. Oh, I don't understand what people don't understand about this. If you want convenience in your life, just throw people cash. Just give people cash. That's it. That's it. You're waiting online. You're waiting online. That's what you do. Take out a 20 or a 50 and you go to the person and go, hey, listen, man, I'm kind of in a rush, man. Is it cool if I take your spot? Here's a 50. You want to go and sit down in a booth and there's an event going on and you're standing, you look around, say, hey, man, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but man, we're looking for a table. Don't know how long you guys are going to be here. Can I buy the table from you? Can I throw you 100? I'll give you 100 right now. I'll give you a crispy C note right now to get the fuck up and get out so I could sit down. And if these people want money, they're either going to say, no, fuck off. Thanks, but no thanks. Or they're going to take $100. They're going to be $100 richer. And they're going to probably go find another seat or go somewhere else. But I don't understand why people don't utilize money. If I could, I'd go on an airline. I would just have a stack of hundreds, go up to somebody, just be like, dude, you mind? I'm sitting over there. If I wasn't in first class, I'm sitting over there. Here's 400. You want 400 for it? What did it charge you? Oh, it charged you 6. Here's 7. You want to make 100? Airlines obviously don't allow that to happen, but restaurants do. Lines do. Go up to the waiter. Seriously, you want better service? Go up to the waiter, call the waiter over, say, excuse me, I just want to let you know, man, we kind of like things. We need things done in a certain way. We're on a little time constraint here. Just here's a 100. Here's 100. Let's just make this experience a little better. Then let's just step the experience up. We were, so me and Brett, I don't know, we're probably the only comedians at the festival to do this. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I didn't see anybody else up there. The gym also had a spa, and the spa had a steam room. And the lady was like, I got to see if there's any appointments left. And I said, look, can we throw you some cash? I'll throw you some cash. And then we don't have to worry about any appointments. And she goes, I got to look, I got to see. And then she was like, oh, you know what? Don't worry. We don't have anybody else for the day. And then you go in there. But the gesture of throwing a little bit, just throw people some cash and it makes life easy. If you can. Okay. Now I know some people are like, hey, dude, I can't go out to eat and throw another 100 just to have the seat that I want. But if you can, if you're having a good week, if some money comes your way, even a 20, okay, you go to a Denny's, $10 will get you a fucking long way. It's like, go to a Denny's and just be like, hey, I'm going to throw an extra 10 on top of the 20% that I'm already giving you 20%. I'm already giving you 20%. I'm going to throw another 10 on top of that. If those fucking eggs are cooked right and nobody's fucking around, make those potatoes the right way. All right. Don't bullshit with the toast. Make sure everything comes out, make sure that this iced tea gets filled. I'm trying to help them out too. And it was so funny because that's what Italians do. We just have cash to give. You guys know the story. I tried giving a kid cash in Walgreens. Giannis Pappas and Bobby Kelly still give me shit. And the kid couldn't accept it, but look, around the holidays, I like to have cash in the pocket and I like to give it to people. I don't know what else to say, but it works. It works. Even the gesture. You know what me and Brett were going to do? We couldn't find a seat at the UFC fight. So there were 3 women at this long table and there were 2 chairs at the table. But it was long. So if we sat in the 2 chairs, we really wouldn't have been fucking with the 3 women. So Brett, I go, hey man, dude, there were 2 chairs. Should I like say like, hey, like we'll give you a little bit of money if, as we won't bother you. And, we're married, like nobody's trying to, I'll just be like, hey, I'm married. I'm not trying to hit on you. We just want to watch the UFC fight. This is like a long bench. Could we sit at the end? And Brett goes, how about this? Go over there. Tell them you're married. We're not going to even talk to them. We're not going to hit on them. Tell them we'll pay their tab for the night. We'll pay their drinks. We'll pay their tab if we could sit. So I walk in there. A couple of fans recognized me. They were there from the festival. They were cool as shit. And I was like, dude, I'm about to ask these people. He goes, yeah, go do it, whatever. So I go up and I just said to the woman, I said, excuse me, I know people aren't sitting there. Me and my friend, and she cut me off. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, people are coming. We're waiting for people. And I was like, fuck. So I didn't even get to say, we'll pay the bill. But then later I saw that the whole table was packed and they were waiting for people. But how cool would that have been? Hey, I'm going to pay your tab just for the nice gesture. That's it. You guys heard the saying, money talks, bullshit walks. I know that's some 80s and 90s old school shit, but it's the truth. But nevertheless, we watched the fights. We had a good time. It was just a great experience. When you're drinking and you end up at a Denny's, it's kind of fun. When you're drinking and you end up in a comedian who you respect's a hotel room with a drink in the bathroom, Doug Stanhope, it's fun. Smoking cigars with my buddy Bobby and everybody, talking shit, sitting in Craig Biggio's sports bar, watching football with Brett Ernst. It was just a great time. But yeah, just the point of the story is just always have 2 extra 20s on you. That's it. You have 2 extra 20s on you. I don't think you could go wrong. Speaking of extra 20s, I'm not going to go into this too much because we're going to talk about it on Anything Better. But my podcast, guys, with Bill Burr that I co-host with Bill Burr, you guys know it, you love it. Anything Better. We did a Monday night special for our Bet MGM bets for Monday Night Football last night. We did 4 things. All 4 things happened, and we hit money for people 2 weeks in a row. And we are going to talk about it on Anything Better. Make sure you tune into Anything Better this week. I am now dropped out of the lead. I am still 500 with my picks, but I've dropped out of the lead because Bill Burr hit 4 games, went 4 for 4. He did the unimaginable. Yeah, so I am like a game or 2 back. We have half the season left. I was up 2 games the whole season, and then he fucking hits a 4 winner, and I was 1-3. So, but we made some people some money. But I was just talking to Giannis Pappas about this. Gambling and NFL, man, I'm worried about it. I'm just worried about it because I just don't, you just don't know if like, you just don't, I don't know. Gambling in the NFL, like I just don't know if it's going to be a, there's always questions in sports. Now when money's on the line, people are just going to start questioning shit. That's what's really, really annoying. And speaking of betting, I did bet on the UFC. I bet on Colby Covington. And so here's what happened. Giannis Pappas had tickets. Giannis Pappas had tickets that he got through Joe Rogan to be ringside. And Giannis is like, dude, I'm going to take you to the fights. But I was at Skankfest. But I talked to Skankfest and I said, is it cool if I missed the last show the last night so I could go to these fights? And they were like, yeah, dude, to be at the fight. Yeah, fuck that, go. And I was about to do it and I missed my flight. I couldn't do it, but I ended up having a great time, obviously, like I just talked about, but I would have been at the fight. So instead we go to that place, Little Woodrow's. Like I told you, we all met there and we were like, who's the underdog? Oh, Colby Covington. So we all bet on Colby Covington. And you know what happened? We lost the money. But it's funny when you're betting on a fight and you're just waiting for like a big moment for you. But then when you're watching and like the funny thing about betting on, when you bet on football, you kind of know if you got a really good chance, if it's going to happen. When you're betting on basketball, you could kind of see the flow of the game. You know, it's up and down, but you get like a maybe, right? A 3-pointer at the end, garbage points, what they call them, garbage minutes. You just don't. In a fight, you kind of know. You're not always, but when you just watch somebody clearly being defensive but dominating and having just the look, I'm gonna be honest. I think that you could, when you watch a fighter, I think the face they make on the way in. Okay. Watch a fighter come out in the UFC, watch their face. You could tell. You could tell who's thinking too much. You can tell who's nervous. You could tell who knows they're going to lose. You can definitely tell who knows they're going to win. You could watch a fight, even in boxing, when somebody comes out and they got that look of their thinking, it's bad. When you get the motherfucker, you get the people coming out nodding their head like this, doing this shit, looking around, smiling, hugging her, pointing to people in the crowd. You just like, oh shit, this person, the one who's just like, and then you get the fake. Then sometimes you get the fake tough. You know that face where you're like, yeah, they're scared. I remember Ronda Rousey did that to her last couple of fights. I know she always would come out like that, but you could tell when it was phony. You know, when you get the relaxed. And another thing I noticed about the UFC, even though I've been wrong the last few times, Guys that are breathing, I know it's going to sound stupid, guys that are breathing better. Do you know what I mean? Like if a guy's just sitting there and he's relaxed, like, oh, this guy's got, it's the guys that are like fucking jumping up and down, doing this shit like all over the place. You're like, oh shit. It's the guys that kind of just doing easy, like, that's my neck good. Breathe through the nose. I know it's ridiculous, and all of these things are not scientifically proven. And I know that I'm just talking a lot of shit. It helps me kind of deal with my betting, but I do think that there's something to it. Here's the problem. You can't bet as they're coming out because it's too last minute. Unless you can. But like the way to do it, we should test this. The way to do it is watch the fighters both come out and get in the octagon. And then after seeing their demeanor, then click the bet. I bet you the percentage of that. I got to figure out how to do that. You got to have like the Bet MGM app open. And then as soon as you see that shit, then you hit it. And I mean, it is really, really fun to watch the fights, to have some drinks, to get the food. Like Saturday night's fight night is just, what's better? If you're not like with the woman you want to be with, or your partner, and you're in the bedroom having a good time, unless like that's obviously like you skip the fights for that shit. If I was like, babe, we're watching the fight Saturday, and she was like, well, I was going to fucking have a fight of our own with you in the bedroom, then I'll watch the highlights after. But other than that, I mean, what's better than watching the fights? Imagine I got into the bedroom and she's really like, no, we're going to fight. She starts fucking, she starts throwing hooks, just beating the shit out of me. Oh my God. Brett Ernst has this joke about how a girl asked him to do shit like that. It's really, really funny. A lot of crazy fetishes out there. But the question is, do I smoke the weed I got? I'm probably going to give it to a neighbor, right? I am home though. Like if I was going to smoke weed, like I would smoke, like if I was going to smoke good weed, it would be like on my couch. So if I started to freak out, because I had some bad experiences, man. I had some bad experiences. Because when I was younger, me and my friends would try smoking weed. It was that shitty weed. It was that dirt weed, seeds and sticks, and you got to pick it apart. And it was like brown. You smoke too much of it, you're paranoid. You think the whole world's crashing down on you. Now this weed is like, you just feel like you took a fucking Xanax, or it depends what type of weed. That's the shit. But I want to be home to find out. The last thing I want to do is be out and about somewhere. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how you people smoke weed, get fucked up, I don't know whatever drugs you're on. Like listen, I could have a couple cocktails, go hang out. Could have a couple whiskeys, couple wines, couple beers, go hang out, be fine, be social. I do not know for the life of me how you people could smoke those ready rolled fucking joints to your head and then just go and behave normal. I sit around, I think too much. I start thinking of all of the scary things in life. I don't know if I'm just smoking the wrong shit. But then I've had good weed where I've taken like 2 or 3 hits and I'm like, man, this is incredible. So I don't know. I know some of you drug addicts who listen to this, or you weed heads, I should say, you're going to be going to the YouTube going, here's what you got to do. And no, I'm not this is one thing I'm not doing. I'm not microdosing shrooms. I'm not taking magic mushrooms to find out who I fucking am. All right. I don't understand people like that. Like, I'm going to take mushrooms, man, you find out who you are. Burr was talking about that shit. And I love Bill, but like, I'm not finding out, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to fucking sit there and all of a sudden my whole world collapses because I wanted to fucking sit and do mushrooms and stare at the sky. I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. All right. I'm not taking acid. I'm not doing any of that shit. These other people, who else bothers me? These people who are like, yeah, I went hiking through the mountains of, Afghanistan to really grew my beard out. I really wanted to be in touch with myself. It's like, or you could have went to a fucking therapist. You could have stayed home. You could have stayed local and not ended up in some fucking weird mountain range where, God knows what could kill you, whether it's animals or crazy people out there in the woods. Those people, those people that they just like, it annoys me. They come back, they have a wool hat, real like long beards. They come back looking like fucking Gandalf or whatever. And they're just like, yeah, man, no, you got to try it one time, man. We went to fucking Tibet, man. It was fucking, dude, it was life changing. It's like, no, you're a mentally ill individual. You're a mentally ill. Okay, you know what those things are called? They're called vacations that you do with a family or friends, and you go and drink and you see beautiful sights. You don't fucking go walking alone, hiking with a book bag. Next thing you know, you end up fucking face down in some creek with your ass literally fucking eaten, and your limbs gone, and some fucking killer is up there waiting for the next group of fucking hikers, man. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. It's go to a therapist, man. Go to a therapist. Go get on an antidepressant, instead of flying to fucking Indonesia because you want to find yourself spiritually. Well, those people, is there something like self-involved about those people? Like it's not you're not the only person that thought about that. It's just you're the only person, like you don't have shit going on. Okay, that's the other thing. You don't have shit going on. You have a job. You have kids. You just like fucking be like, I need to find myself. I'm gonna go to Everest and fucking turn into a popsicle on the way up, because I was introverted in high school. Fuck out of here. And I don't mean to talk shit about people with mental illness. I probably have a mental illness. And I would recommend everybody go to a therapist and get help and all those things. I've talked about my mental health forever now. Forever. I've talked about my depression, all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those people that like almost do it. I don't know. Listen, some people want to do it. That's fine. I don't like those self-righteous people though. One time me and my wife, we were looking for a church to get married in. And there was a woman there, a priest, was a short-haired woman. And she just was like, she's like talking to us. And she was just telling us how her church was the best. And you got to come to this church. And then on our way out, she goes, oh, and I brought some artifacts from Africa on my last mission. Would you like to come over and see? And the answer I'm thinking is, fuck no. Fuck no. As a matter of fact, I don't appreciate that you had to go on some fucking journey and you want us to see how great you are. So you went to Africa or wherever you went, you bought all these things and now you're putting them on a table in your church for people to see. How about you fucking talk about why me and my wife should get married there, why the church is great, okay, what you're going to do for us, how it's going to be a great day for us because it's our wedding day, not yours. Instead, you're talking about your shit. You're talking about your mission to Africa and your artifacts. Nobody gives a fuck. I didn't want to do this. This podcast started about love. This podcast started about love and appreciation of the fans. And now I'm thinking of all these fucking self-righteous fucking people that hop on airplanes and they come back with some fucking stupid like horned mask that they found in Indonesia. And all of a sudden they got to tell you why their fucking experience and you're not cultured and you didn't do anything. And they got a beard out here and they're all on sorts of drugs. And then you look like the asshole for having a fucking normal life. Fuck everybody, man. It took a turn. I know it took a turn. I'm just, I'm in a mood where, and this is not for this podcast mood. I'm just in a place now where I'm done with selfish people. We were talking about it the other day at the table when we were eating at the festival. We're eating over there, Craig Biggio's. We were talking about how funny would it be if I was like, yeah, listen, Craig, the food, the wings, whatever. But listen, man, that 3-2 count you had in fucking 2004 against the Reds, man. How did you not swing at that? Those crazy son of a bitches who like meet an athlete and they talk about moments as if the athlete remembers or wants to give a fuck. But what I'm saying is we were sitting there eating, and I think the two grossest characteristics of the two worst things somebody can be is cheap. Fucking cheap people are disgusting to me. Cheap and selfish, man. If you're cheap and selfish, and they kind of go as like one of the same, but like I just find that shit, people that like pinch pennies and people that it's just so fucking gross, man. And these self-righteous people that want to tell you that like what you're not doing. Isn't it so? You ever talk to somebody that like you're doing better than, and they want to start telling you shit? They want to start telling, yeah, but this, yeah, but that. It's like, don't do that. And first of all, don't you know I know what you're doing? That's the other thing about these people. They think they're either projecting and they don't realize what they're doing. And those people I kind of feel bad for. But then there are people that in their passive aggressive way, they try to project their shit on you as if you're doing the wrong thing. Meanwhile, you're doing better than them. I can't stand that shit. Oh God, guys, I'm getting fired up now. I'm getting fired up now. I think I'm going to get to the point in my life where I'm just going to start telling people like, listen, man, fuck off. I can't anymore. You know, I was on stage last night and it was really freeing. It was really freeing and liberating. I was on stage and I mentioned Donald Trump's name. I just said Trump for whatever reason. I was talking about Biden and just Trump's name came up and the crowd got weird. And I literally just said, you fucking think about what just happened. You fucking grown adults just didn't even let me finish. And you heard me say a man's last name and you turned into 10th graders, you fucking dumb children. You people are idiots. And I got to tell a crowd that. And I got to tell you, it felt amazing. And I know the next thing I'm going to say is going to be funny because the shit I was doing was funny. Like I was telling funny stories and telling funny jokes. I'm having a good time. And some of these people just hear a word, especially in New York. They're just fucking children. They hear you say something. Well, I don't like that. Fuck you, you fucking child. Listen to words and listen to what somebody's overall point is instead of hearing those things. So it's the same thing, man. When somebody goes into their self-righteous thing, I can just cut out the fat now and go, oh, this is about you. This is for you. So I'm going to listen to all this shit. And then you let me know when I could go and I'll just say what it really is, or I should just fucking ignore you. Because I see too much of that now. And you know who I don't mind if that person wants to hop on a plane and go to fucking whatever country in the world and go hiking and do that. And then they come back and keep their mouth shut. And then you ask them about it. Hey, how was all? It was great, man. It was really a lot of fun, man. I met a lot of people, learned a lot of things. That's fine. That's fine. It's the other people that like try to tell you, like, I'm still mad at that lady at the church because it was never about me and my wife. And here's the other thing. My wife goes, oh, I liked it. And it was a really nice church. It was kind of old school. And I'm going, what? Did you just see? My wife was able to, women and men are different. Women are able and probably smarter in the sense that women can say, that's a nice church. It's old school looking. The way the wood is, it's really kind of cool and different. And I like it. And just forget about the priest, where I'm like, fuck that. Forget her. Okay. The church is nice, but she's selfish and it's about her and it's not about the church with her. And it's definitely not going to be about us on our wedding day. And I definitely don't give a shit about some stupid fucking mask or shit that she brought over here. So we're not doing it. And luckily we ended up not doing it. And we got married in a giant, beautiful church in Rye, New York. Rye Presbyterian actually got married where George Bush Sr. and Barbara Bush got married. Sick. Like with the home, because me and my wife, we're not like accepted to a church like Catholic or whatever. Like I didn't get whatever that is. So we just had to find a church that accepted us. But I want to start taking my kids and my family to church and do all that stuff. But yeah, I don't like selfish people. I think there were people in my life that were close to me that were selfish, and I'm starting to realize now. You start to realize now, the way, like they say, you realize that what was it? The show Family Guy said some shit where it's like you get molested and then you don't realize it until 40. Well, what happened with me is when I reached a certain age and I had kids, I started, instead of the molested, I started to realize, oh, there were people that were close to me that just didn't do the right thing by me. There were people that were close to me that gave advice because they were projecting about themselves. They said things because it was about themselves, and even if that was to the detriment of me and my my brother, my siblings. So those are the things that happen, and all you could do is just not do it for your family. I know, guys, the podcast started out, we were talking about comedy and I was telling cool stories about being in Doug Stanhope's bathroom and taking photos in the shower with a cigar and a drink. and watching UFC fights and giving cash to cooks at Denny's at 2:00 in the morning. We were talking, Steve Urkel checking my bag to see if I had drugs in it at the airport. We were cooking, everything was working. We were cruising. Everything was good. And then I just started thinking about that lady, and this is what happens with the Virzi effect. Sometimes I get heated, I get amped up. But if you're listening to the podcast, that's what you like. That's what you paid for. Or that's what you pay for when you come and see me. Speaking of coming and seeing me, guys. All right. And by the way, I really appreciate you guys listening to the show, listening to both shows. I also appreciate you guys listening to, any podcast that I'm on, or going to my YouTube channel, subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can do that still. And we're always putting new stuff on there, but we've kind of held off just a little bit because the special is coming to probably going to be done. It's coming along soon, and we'll have a release date and platform, very, very soon. We already know some things. We're just doing the edits and stuff. Funny thing about when you do a special is like little edits that you wouldn't imagine. Like font of title, like this camera angle, that camera. He's not even always about jokes. You're just like, does the light look good on my fingertip in this? It's weird. But I will be performing, guys. I will be performing Thanksgiving weekend in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Beautiful Bridgeport, Connecticut. Stunning Bridgeport, Connecticut. Thanksgiving weekend, November 26th and 27th. You guys, tickets are available right now at the Stress Factory. It's going to be 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Cannot wait to go there. It is not far from me. So if you, if you're not too full or hungover after Thanksgiving Day and you want to laugh, take a friend, take some family, come out. Bridgeport, Connecticut, the Stress Factory. It actually is a really, really cool comedy room. I loved being in there. I actually was in there with Louis J. Gomez when he did his Depraved show, and I had a great time. So you could get tickets for that. And what else? And I had something. No, that's it for the year. And then I'll just be doing a couple things here and there. And then I am home for the holidays. I cannot fucking wait to just be home for the holidays. And I obviously will still be doing the shows, all the podcasts and all that stuff. So I hope to see you guys at a venue. But like I said, anybody that saw me at the festival in Houston and said something, I appreciate you. If you didn't say something, but you saw me at the festival, I appreciate you. All you guys listening to this podcast. Sorry, I was supposed to have a guest this week. We will have a guest in the next actually next week, there'll definitely be a guest, but there's going to be more and more guests. And again, if there's a guest that you guys want me to have on the show, go to my YouTube channel. I always, we screen the comments, but for the most part, like you guys are like 95% like fine. Like it's just my producer will look at some stuff and shit, but you guys are always really cool with the what's it called, the comments and all that stuff, and all the people. We still have a ton of people listening on audio, so we're trying to get more. People are like, dude, these YouTubes need more views. I want to thank everybody who's listening on audio, but yes, come on to the Zoom. You could check out the show here. You could see my cool colored sweatshirts. You could see my cool studio. If you're not a New York Giants fan, get over it. It's just a fucking sign. And speaking of the Giants, my delusional mental state that they're not done yet. All right, guys, check out the Anything Better podcast with me and Burr this week. All the stuff I just mentioned. Hope to see you in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This has been the Virzi Effect 515. I will see you guys next week, most likely with a guest.